Understood. All right, are we ready to go?
Yeah, we are.
Call our meeting to order. I think we need to do roll call.
Commissioner Solopek.
Present.
Commissioner Rickles.
Oh, I'm sorry. Here.
Commissioner Ramos. You're here on the phone, Mr. Commissioner Ramos?
Did you say Commissioner Ramos?
I did.
Yes, I am present.
Excellent. Commissioner Peterson?
Present.
Commissioner Chase?
I think that was a yes.
Okay. Vice Chairman Montero?
Here.
Chairman Kimball?
Present.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Right on. Do we have telephones in this building now? Somebody? No telephones yet?
Getting closer.
So this is truly jury-rigged to get them on the front. Well, I'm impressed. Is there duct tape involved? Probably.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, both Commissioner Ramos and Commissioner Chase, I guess I need to acknowledge that they were unable to get here in person, and that's why they're participating telephonically.
Okay.
So if they could say that's the case, that would be helpful for the record.
Commissioner Ramos, is that accurate?
Commissioner Ramos, yes, that's okay, and that is correct.
Commissioner Chase?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
We're here this morning, a special meeting. I don't expect this will take too long, but we're going to consider 5 applications for certification of non-navigable public water. The first, we'll take these in order. Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I think we need to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Oh, you want to approve the minutes?
If we could do that.
Okay, we'll do that first then. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting? So moved. Second. All in favor?
Second.
Okay.
Aye.
Thank you.
Good echo. This is an echo, yeah. Okay, all of that having been said, we'll take these in order. We won't do them all in one lump. We'll consider each one on its own. I will ask for a motion at the end of the meeting on each particular, or the hearing on each particular application, and then we'll go from there. If there's any questions or comments from the Commission about either the process or the substance of the application, obviously feel free to ask. The way the rule is written, we do not take public comment from, we don't take comment from the public via question and answer or oral testimony, if you will. Comments are supposed to be submitted in writing. For good cause shown, the chairman can open the floor for oral comment or public comment if necessary. To put, since this is the first of these set of hearings or meetings on these applications, people for and against these applications, I encourage you to submit your comments in writing. Follow what the rule says. There's a comment period. It closes before this hearing, roughly 7 days before this hearing. The applications, along with the comments, are transmitted to the Commission, so we've all done our homework by the time we get here. But it's important for this process that your written comments are submitted timely so that we can consider them as we get ready for a hearing like today. This is a little bit more like the federal model. You submit your comments, and typically, at least under the federal model, under some circumstances, if you don't submit written comments, you don't have the ability to have standing or the ability to appeal later on. So it's important, again, if you wish to participate in this process, to get in early with your written comments and make sure that they become part of the record. As we go through this set of hearings today, I will be admitting evidence into the record. my sense of, unless it's a completely inflammatory comment from the public that's submitted in writing, I see no reason to exclude any public comments that are submitted in writing. Typically, what we get in writing is always thoughtful and useful to the dialogue. But I'll address those in turn. Again, get your comments in a timely fashion for or against whatever the application is that you wish to address. All of that having been said, I will call the first one, application number 1 for certification of non-navigable public water segment. This is Chama Trout Stalkers, LLC. Commission was provided with the application packet prior to today's hearing. I believe we got only one public comment. Is that correct?
Mr. Chairman, we received only one public comment during the comment period. We've subsequently received 2 additional ones.
Okay, and were the 2 additional ones outside the 14-day comment period?
They were.
Okay. And what was the one that was received during the comment period? Do you recall?
It was, I forgot the name. It's, I think it was Backcountry Hunters and Anglers.
Okay. This is a test, by the way.
I'm apparently ill-prepared. I believe it was Backcountry Hunters and Anglers.
That's okay. Okay, so on application number 1, to be considered for the record, I do have the application, and then I've got a comment from Backcountry Hunters and Anglers dated October 24, 2018, that was submitted timely. Is there any other information that was submitted to the department that needs to be included in the record for application number 1?
Mr. Chairman, none that was submitted timely.
Okay. So that having been said, I will admit the application as Exhibit 1. I'll admit the letter from Backcountry Hunters and Anglers dated October 24, 2018 as Exhibit number 2. Are there any questions or comments from the Commission on the application? Anything submitted by the applicant or anything in regard to the comments submitted by Backcountry Hunters and Anglers? Mr. Director, would you tell us what your recommendation was on this particular application?
Mr. Chairman, having reviewed the application, I found that it met all of the requirements set forth in rule and therefore recommend adoption of the application.
Okay. And I received as part of the packet, if you will, on this in advance of the hearing, your letter to the Commission dated August 28, 2018 that does show a recommendation for approval of the application to designate the segment identified in the application as a non-navigable public water. We'll go ahead and admit that recommendation as Exhibit 3. Are there any questions on anything that's been admitted so far from commissioners? All right. So ultimately what we do, this having been the first one, I'll kind of lay out the process a little bit. We will take final action today on this particular application. Per rule, we are permitted to approve or reject the written determination and recommendation or written rejection, if there is one, of the director, but we're not limited to those options. So we do have some flexibility if, for instance, an application needed to be supplemented, amended, or beefed up a little bit in order to meet the requirements of the rule. But I'll call for a moment for a motion on this one. What will come out of this are essentially something like findings of fact and conclusions of law. There'll be a written agency decision, and from that point, it can be appealed or can be appealed typically within 30 days, and then there's ultimately a certificate that's issued by the director, and then there are signs that follow from this if the application is approved by the commission. Any further discussion on application number 1? Any questions from anyone?
No.
Okay. I will point out, with regard to application number 1, which is exhibit number 1, we are provided with the information that was required by rule. We have name, address, telephone number, etc. We do have recorded deeds, which go on for quite a few pages. We do have proof of publication, and then we were provided with substantial evidence from the applicant's perspective that is probative of the water course or rivers being non-navigable at the time of statehood on a segment-by-segment basis. There is a report that is attached to the application. There is additional information that's not strictly required by the rule that gives further support to the application. All that having been said, I will entertain a motion to approve the application as submitted, which would include a determination and finding that the segment in the application be designated a non-navigable public water. So somebody needs to make that motion if they choose to do so, other than me.
I so move, Mr. Chairman.
Can I get a second? Second. Any discussion, further discussion on the application or the motion on the table? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Commissioner Chase?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None opposed. So we will issue a written agency decision on this particular application, application number 1. It is approved. Application number 2, this is the Kenneth A. Hirsch Qualified Residence Trust and the Julie K. Hirsch Qualified Residence Trust on July 24, Residence Trust, property in San Miguel County. With regard to this property, do we receive any comments other than the Backcountry Hunters and Anglers comment?
Mr. Chairman, the Backcountry Hunters and Anglers was the only comment received.
Mr. Simpson, you are the big winner, I think, in today's...
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I might add that I received an email from the Wildlife Federation that has to do with all of these. I'm not sure when their comment period would come in. I only received it 3 days ago, and I see that Mr. Crenshaw is here representing them. I don't know how we would handle that with something that would apply to all of them regarding background information and some of the legal...
If they're not timely, I won't admit them as evidence, but that doesn't mean that whoever submits those can't bring their issues up, whether it's through appeal or otherwise. But there is a rule, it's got time periods in it, we need to follow it. But I'm mindful of that.
I don't know if I'm the only one that received the email, Mr. Chairman, but...
I don't know if I received one.
Mr. Chairman, that was one of the 2 comments I mentioned earlier that did not come in timely.
Okay, thank you. So we do have the timely comment from Backcountry Hunters and Anglers. We have application number 2. I will admit both of those into evidence. I will note both for application number 1 and then for all of these applications that we did receive 2 comments that were not timely submitted. One was Wildlife Federation. Do we know who the other one was, Mr. Director?
If you'll give me just a moment, Mr. Chairman.
You're assiduously looking on your phone for the name of that person. I will continue with application number 2. Well, actually, I need you to weigh in on this, Mr. Director, so I'll wait until you're done.
Mr. Chairman, we received a comment from Phil Howes, who manages a ranch near Pecos, in support, and a comment from Jeb Norton, a New Mexico, all my life avid public land user and enjoyer, opposed.
Opposed. Thank you. I will admit, as I said, the application, Exhibit 1, Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, Exhibit 2. Mr. Director, what was your recommendation, written recommendation on this particular application?
Mr. Chairman, with this application, again, I reviewed the rule and the application and found that the application met all the requirements of the rule and therefore recommend approval.
Going to admit as Exhibit 3 the Director's recommendation of approval. Is there any question or comment on application number 2 from Commissioners? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve application number 2 and further determine and find that the segment identified in the application be designated as a non-navigable public water. So moved. Second. Any questions, comments, or further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Any opposed? None opposed. All right. Application number 2 is approved. Chairman will issue written findings of fact and conclusions of law on that particular application. Application number 3, Z&T Cattle Company LLC, Mimbres River. We'll go through the comment two-step here one more time. The only comment we received was Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, October 24, 2018, the one we received timely, correct?
Mr. Chairman, that is correct.
And then the other 2 that you mentioned, and then maybe a third one, it sounds like perhaps from the Wildlife Federation, was not received within the comment period.
Correct.
Okay. I will admit application number 3 as Exhibit 1. I will admit Backcountry Hunters and Anglers letter October 24, 2018 as Exhibit number 2. Mr. Director, what was your recommendation as to application number 3?
Mr. Chairman, as with the other applications, I reviewed both the rule and the application, found that the application met the requirements of the rule and therefore recommend approval.
Any questions or comments from Commissioners on application number 3 before I call for a motion? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve application number 3 and designate the segment identified in the application as a non-navigable public water, as well as determining and finding that that segment is non-navigable public water. I will entertain a motion to that effect.
So moved. Second.
Any further discussion, question, or comment on application number 3? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? None opposed. Application number 4, Z&T Cattle Company LLC, Alamosa River. I will note again for the record that we received 1 public comment timely, Backcountry Hunters and Anglers. I will admit as Exhibit 1, application number 4. I will also admit as Exhibit number 2, the letter from Backcountry Hunters and Anglers. I will note for the record that we had 3 other untimely comments. And Mr. Director, what was your recommendation on application number 4?
Mr. Chairman, after reviewing the application and the requirements of the rule, I found that the application met the requirements and therefore recommend approval.
Any questions or comments on application number 4? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the application and further determine and find that the segment identified in the application be designated as a non-navigable public water. Can I get a motion to that effect, please?
So moved.
Second. Any further discussion, question, or comment on application number 4 or the motion on the table? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Commissioner Chase?
Aye.
Any opposed? None opposed, the motion carries. We will issue a written decision on this application as well, application number 4. The 5th and final application, Z&T Cattle Company, LLC, Penasco River. Note again for the record that we received one timely public comment on this from Backcountry Hunters and Anglers. We received 3 other comments as identified previously, but they were untimely. I will admit as evidence into the record application number 5. I will also admit as Exhibit 2, Backcountry Hunters and Anglers letter dated October 24, 2018. Mr. Director, what was your written determination on this application?
Mr. Chairman, again, after review of the application and the rule, I found that the application met the requirements set forth in the rule and recommend approval.
Any questions or comments from the Commission on application number 5? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the application as submitted and further determine and find that the segment in the application be designated as a non-navigable public water. Can I get a motion to that effect, please? So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion, question, or comment on application number 5? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Commissioner Chase?
Yes, sir. Aye.
Okay. Motion carries. We will issue a written agency decision on application number 5. That concludes all the applications for today. I will again stress to the public and interested parties, get your comments in timely, get them in writing. If there was something raised in a written comment that was untimely, we might take oral testimony. If an application is incomplete or confusing or needs clarification, we might take oral testimony to quote-unquote fix that problem or get some more background information. But typically these hearings are handled in a way that we follow up on the director's hard work. And so we are not looking at these applications necessarily in the first instance. We're having the director provide us with a written determination based on the application that's made. Then we have written comments that come in. Everything gets rolled.
Did you push the phantom button?
Man, I didn't do it. Okay. Wasn't me. And then everything gets rolled up and is provided to us a week in advance. So to make this a smooth process, I encourage you to get involved in the process at the earliest possible moment. Make sure that you get your comments in timely. In addition, it is not sufficient to send your comments solely to commissioners. So there is a process. There is an address, there's an electronic address, do things the right way, so there's no question later on whether your comment was included in the packet properly or not, as it is transmitted to the commissioners. Yes, Mr. Gray.
Mr. Chairman, I have a procedural question, I guess. Do we need a motion from the commission for you to sign off on the approval of the findings of fact and conclusions of law?
Yes. I think we'll do it individually for each 5 of them, just so it's clear.
So will we bring those forward to another meeting, or?
No, I think we've got, it's sufficient to give me authorization to sign off on those. So as to application 1, which was approved, I would entertain a motion for the chairman to sign and execute findings of fact and conclusions of law constituting a final commission or agency decision on application number 1.
I would so move, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I heard 2 ayes that time. On application number 2, I would entertain a motion for the chairman to sign and execute findings of fact and conclusions of law constituting a final agency and commission decision on application number 2.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. As to application number 3, I would entertain a motion to authorize the chairman to sign and execute findings of fact and conclusions of law constituting a final agency or commission decision as to application number 3.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. As to application number 4, I would entertain a motion to authorize the chairman to execute and sign findings of fact and conclusions of law constituting a final agency and commission decision as to application number 4.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
As to application number 5, I would entertain a motion to authorize the chairman to execute and sign findings of fact and conclusions of law constituting a final agency decision, final agency and commission decision as to application number 5.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. I don't think we've got anything further on today's agenda. Any questions or comments to wrap this up? For those applicants today that are successful, read the rule. There's a process that follows from this. There'll be a written decision that comes out. Ultimately, that will translate into a certificate that's issued by the director, and ultimately there are signs that are available under the rule in the final sections of the rule. So I encourage both the public and applicants, familiarize yourself with this rule. There are certainly more segments of rivers, water courses, and lakes in New Mexico to be considered in the future. This is this is the first group of these, but I'm certain in the future there'll be more of them. So if there's nothing further, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Mr. Chairman. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Aye.
You jump in the
Chair.
Oh, in the attachment.
Anyway, you can if you want
Chair.
I will send it today. He's going to meet with Courtney.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to say.